Katrina's Creations. This is episode 92, and I've got tons of stuff to share with you today. So let's get started. I have one finished object and a finished part of an object. We'll say it that way. So let's see what we got first. I have my tote. This is for the tote along. I'm not competing for the prize, but I am participating along with it. So you can see from my little donut stitch marker right here how far I was last week. I finished this gold section and then I knitted or crocheted these little loops for the handles. So on the inside, it's just one big open bag. I had thought about putting some pockets in this because I've got a skein of each of these colors left, but this is such a floppy bag that I think if I put anything in the pockets, it's just going to fall out anyway. The only thing I might make actually out of it that just now occurred to me is Yoka gave me a pattern for a, she had the yarn ball buddy, but she also sent me a pattern for another version that she designed that's kind of reminds me of like a tulip sort of. Kind of reminds me of tulip shaped. I might make those. I might make one of each of those to store things inside here. So that might be a good idea. And if they're drawstring, an idea just struck. If I make two of those and I put them on a drawstring, I can tie the drawstring to the handle and let it dangle inside here so that it can hold my skein of yarn and not get it tangled up. And I can actually just pull right from the drawstring, and because it'll be tied from the inside on this, it's not going to like wiggle and get lost in the bottom of the bag. So I am going to use this, I think, as a project bag. I don't think I'll use it as a pocketbook. I could, but I don't think I will. So here it is. It's probably about 14 inches tall, and width-wise, probably 14 to 15 inches wide. So there it is. So that is my finished object, and I'm real happy with it. And like I said, I have a lot of this yarn left, so I think I'm going to make a couple of yarn ball buddies. So thank you again for those patterns, Yoka. So that's what that's going to turn into. So project number one. My other semi-finished project, it's a finished part of another project. I finished my second sleeve, so I now have two sleeves. And yes, they're the same length, which is a good thing since my arms are the same length. So I have two. So my next part of the project is to attach these to the main body. The sweater I'm putting these on goes from the bottom up. So I've already knitted from the bottom to the armpit. These will go there, and then they attach and you do the yoke and up to the neck. So this is my forever sweater. I felt like I was knitting something for an octopus because it certainly seems like I've been knitting sleeves so long. I feel like I've knitted at least 6 to 8 of them. Yeah, this is the sweater that keeps on giving. I think it's going to be gorgeous, but I'll be so glad when it's finished. I feel like I have been knitting on this forever because I actually have. I worked on it over a year ago, and then I set it aside for a while, and then I picked it back up and have been steadily picking at this thing for months now. So I'm ready to move on, but this is how far I got this week. Let me open this up a little bit. You can see here's my stitch marker, and this is the stitch marker Kathy gave me. So thank you again, Kathy. I do use it all the time, and it goes from here up to here. So it takes 15 cables from about the mid arm up. And so this week I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So yeah, we've got 2 finished sleeves. So I'm very excited about that. Next, I have a dilemma. I'm going to share it with you guys. and you all can like help me out. I have some ideas. This is my granny versus, or I keep trying to call it the granny versus virus shawl. It's the granny meets virus shawl, or virus meets granny, virus meets granny shawl. All right, let me show you my dilemma. Since last week, here it is. It looks white. This is actually like a real light pearl gray. So I finished this variegated section right here, and this is in the virus pattern. Now, this is all I've got left of this purple yarn. This is Ella Ray Cozy Soft. The color is number 44, and it is called Raspberry Pudding. I stopped at my local yarn shop during knit night, and we looked all over. She looked in the back and everything. No more skeins of this color. She had every other color. Didn't have this. It's back ordered. She checked it. It's back ordered. So who knows how long it could take to come in. Now she did have more of the gray, which I knew I would need because I only have a very small, I don't even have it here. This is all I have left of the first skein of the purple. I mean of the gray. So I was able to buy a second one of these. This is all I've got left of this. And this is all I've got left of the hand dyed. And this is Ancient Arts. Or Ancient Fiber Arts, Ancient Arts Fiber. One of those. Anyway, this is all I have left of it. So here's my thought. My next section technically should be the raspberry color again, which I might have enough because I would be in the granny stripe section. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit this until it runs out. I mean, knit. I keep saying knit because I've always been a knitter. I'm going to crochet this until it runs out. I'm going to see how many stripes I can get out of this for the granny stripe portion. Then the next part would be the gray. So the virus would be done with the gray. So I have plenty for that. And then the granny, it would end in a granny stripe. I don't want it to end in a granny stripe. I want it to end with the virus just because I like the scalloped edges. But I don't think this is going to be enough for very much of the virus. I might get one loop out of it, one section. So I think I'm just going to try to run these out as far as I can. It calls for fringe in the pattern. I don't think I'm going to put the fringe on. I don't know if I'm a fringe type of person. I think a fringe, like from the 1960s, when I was a kid, fringe was popular and lots of things had fringe on them. I don't know that I really want fringe. It tends to get scraggly looking after a while. So that's what let me know if you think that this is going to work. I'm just going to keep, some of my sections might not be as long. Like I don't know that I'm going to get 6 rows of the granny stripe out of this much yarn. So I might, and I know I won't get 3 sections of the virus portion out of this. So maybe this bottom portion of the shawl, I'll start kind of narrowing the stripes down a little bit because I don't know what else to do. Anyway, give me your input. If you got any suggestions, I'm open to them. So let me know. And yeah, I did look online because I thought, well, since my yarn store didn't have this, maybe I could find it someplace else. No, it's out of stock pretty much everywhere. The 2 places I did find it wanted more for the shipping than the yarn cost. It was ridiculous. I don't know why they had such, I think they were within the States. I don't know why they were so expensive because shipping a ball of yarn, it only weighs, what, maybe 4 ounces, I think. Does this one say how many ounces it is? It's got to say it someplace. Yeah, 3.5 ounces. It does not cost $8 to ship 3.5 ounces, and that's what they were going to charge me. The yarn itself, one shop sold it for $6.90 something, the other one was $7.90 something, but both of them wanted $8 to $9 to ship it. I'm not doing that. I'm not paying more for shipping than it costs for the yarn. That's ridiculous. And I know that they're cushioning their profit by doing that because it does not cost that much to ship. I just bought a mug, like a big coffee mug, or if you're in the UK, you'd call it a beaker, and it was $3.99 to ship, something like that. So I know that it's not going to cost that. So anyway, I won't be buying the yarn from someplace else. If I can't get it from my local yarn store, I'm not going to buy it from somewhere else, because I'd rather give her the business. But like I said, it's out of stock, and I don't want to wait till whenever it happens to come back in again. So just let me know what you think. If you think my idea is going to work, I mean, if it doesn't, I can always rip it out. So that's my virus meets granny shawl dilemma. So we have that going on. Then I have my other work in progress is a pattern by Barbara Benson. She is Watch Barbara Knit on YouTube. And if you haven't checked out her channel, please do. It's a lot of fun. This is her There's Water at the Bottom of the Ocean, and I haven't knitted a whole lot this week. I've only done like 6 rows. You can see there's my little, where's it at? He disappeared. There we go. There's my little stitch marker from last week, right here. I've only done 6 rows. I made the mistake of taking this with me to knit night. Probably not a good option because this has like several different charts you're working off of with lots of repeats, and you got to kind of count and watch what you're doing. So yeah, I had to knit some, I had to unknit some, and then I got to talking and lost my place. So yeah, I've only done, like I said, right here to here, so about 1 inch. So I didn't get very far with this. And this is Fisa Rimini yarn that I'm knitting this with. And even though it looks silver, it's actually icy blue. And I still haven't decided if I'm going to attach beads or not. I tend to think or not at this point. But that's what it looks like so far. So I do like the pattern. I just taking something with a lot of that requires a lot of thought to knit night is not a brilliant idea. So, yeah, I won't be doing that again. I'll take something like my Granny Meets Virus shawl, something I don't have to think a whole lot. Yeah. So anyway, that's the progress from there. Now, let's move on to acquisitions. I've got a few this week. First off, I had that I just dropped on the floor. First, I had the Ella Rae that I just showed you for my virus shawl. Then, while I was standing in line to pay for that at my yarn shop, I saw this. See if I can get this close, because right now it just looks like it's gray. There you can see it. It's grays and teals, and it's got some purple in it. Yeah, it's really, really pretty. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, that's pretty good, I guess. Yeah, there you go. Purples and teals, totally my colors. And there it was, calling my name. It is a gradient. It is Queensland Collection Cassowary. Cassowary. There it is. And it is called Aquamarine. And it is 70% wool, 30% nylon, and there's 380 yards or 347 meters. And this is, it's between a lace weight and a fingering. It's a little heavier than a lace weight. It's a 1 in the weight. You can see it right here. A little spool with the 1 on it. And someone did ask me about doing a tutorial on yarn weights, and that is coming. I just haven't had a chance to work on it lately. So, yeah, hopefully I can get that together and it will be up in the next week or two. So I bought that, as well as the gray yarn. And then I told you a couple weeks ago that I had run into a company. I'd seen it advertised and talked about on another YouTube channel. And it's a company called Teespring. And they will print, you can do stuff for like family reunions. You can do the mugs. They have totes. They have t-shirts. I forget what else. Baseball hats, I think. They have all different types of things, and you can put your own logo on it. You design your own logo, and you can print it. And then they send it to you. And if you are doing it just for yourself, it's not too badly priced. If you are doing it and then selling it, they take care of the shipping and everything. So it's a little bit pricier for that. But I got something with my logo, so I was excited. I have a teacup. Here it is. It says Katrina's Creations. We've got the skein of yarn on top and the crochet hook on the bottom. So there is that. And I think it's an 11-ounce mug. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. I have to wash it. Just came in the other day. So I need to wash it so I can drink my tea out of it. So yes, there it is. Katrina's Creations. And then I also got a tote bag with it on it too. So there's the tote bag. And it's just a kind of canvas color, like an ecru. They call it natural. It's ecru, like an off-white. And it's just empty inside. I mean, there's no pockets or anything like that. It's just a tote bag, just for hauling stuff around, projects and such. And there's some if you guys want them. If you are interested, I will put the link down below. But here's the thing. If you use the coupon code between now and August 31st, you can get $3 off. So the coupon code is KC $3, all in capital letters. And you just put that in. Make sure you put it in before you pay for it, because I can't refund it to you or anything because I have nothing to do with it. It's just sitting in a print on demand type of thing, and that company handles all of it. So, yeah, anyway, there is a mug and there is the tote bag. And the tote bag is, I think it's $19.99, but the $3 off gives it to you for $16.99. And the mug, I believe, was $14.99. And so the $3 gives it to you for $11.99. And the shipping, it only ships within the U.S. though. So that's the only place the company sends to. So the shipping is $3.99 per item. So anyway, if you're interested, the link down below to get there. So I was excited about that. I've never had things with my name on it. Very, very rarely, because I have such an odd name. Very rarely growing up was there anything. So now I got a mug with my logo. I'm so excited. Anyway, other exciting news. I saw that my knit crate is getting ready to ship. And so that should be in probably about a week and a half. It usually comes in somewhere around the 9th or 10th of the month. But they're sending me another sock box to unbox for you guys. It was only supposed to be for 3 weeks or 3 months that they were doing this, and they sent it last month. And I actually contacted them and said, did you really mean to send it to me? Because, I don't want to take it if they just made a mistake. But yeah, they're sending it again. They said, no, enjoy it. So they're sending it again this month. So I'll have 2 boxes to unbox when it comes in a couple weeks. So that was exciting because, who doesn't like getting free yarn? I mean, the one I paid for, but the sock one they're sending, and it's free for me to unbox and show to you guys. So, and some of those have gone up in giveaways. So anyhow, that is exciting going on. Then we have news from our viewers. Last week, we were talking about the Tour de Fleece and the spin along that was going on, and how Fran and Yoka participated in it. Well, Fran sent a finished picture of what her yarn looks like now that it's all plied, and I'm going to insert a picture here. And then she also sat down. I'm not sure how she figured some of this out, but she did. She had spun a total of 90 bats of wool. That is a lot of wool, folks. So she figured out the totals. The length of yarn that she produced, 2.866 kilometers, which comes out to 1.78 miles of yarn. So almost a mile and 3/4, or a little over a mile and 3/4 of yarn. If you strung it all out on the bobbins, that's how far out it goes. She weighed it. It is 2.498 kilograms, which comes out to 5.5 pounds of yarn. Folks, that's a lot of yarn. When you think that this skein is 3.5 ounces, yeah, it's 3.5 ounces. Does it say how? Or 100 grams? Yeah. 2.498 kilograms or 5.5 pounds of yarn. That's like those big cones that I've got. That's that much yarn. Then she figured out how far she had actually pedaled. She had pedaled during the spinning process to spin all this. She pedaled 8.662 kilometers, which comes out to 5.38 miles. I wonder if I could count that as exercise, bicycling, if I'm treadling, doing my spinning. I wonder if that counts as exercise. I wonder how many calories that burns. I should look that up. See how many calories. I could see me writing that down on my weight loss thing that I'm doing. I'm in a weight loss program, and you have to like track everything you eat, and I'm not real good at it. But if you have to track everything you eat and all your exercise and all this stuff, I wonder if they even have one for spinning. I'll have to check it out. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, yes, she pedaled and the equivalent of 5.38 miles. And spinning, she figured out how many hours she spent spinning. She spent 90 hours doing the initial spin and an additional 40 hours plying the yarn together. That's amazing. I'm like in awe. I'm totally in awe. So, yeah, way to go, Fran. So, next thing I found out, I was watching The Secret Yarnery, which if you are into crochet, check her channel out. She is in South Africa, and, or not South Africa. That's another channel I watch. No, she's in Nairobi. She's in Nairobi. And it's really interesting because she does her it's all crochet related. So if you're a knitter, it probably wouldn't be something that would be interesting. However, she always shows at the end of her videos little clips of the area around where she lives. So anyway, I was watching The Secret Yarnery, and she happened to mention Cosetta. And I thought, that's strange, because I have a subscriber named Cosetta, because she and I have talked before, because I told her I liked her name. I had never heard it before. So I thought, well, I wonder, it's got to be the same lady. I'm sure, because she's a crocheter too. It's got to be the same person. So I went over and checked it out. She has a channel called Setta's Place, and I'll write it right here so you can check it out. Yeah. So her name's Cosetta, but she goes by Setta. So it's called Setta's Place. So I looked it up, and so I sent her a little message and said, are you one and the same person? And she was like, yes, I am the same person. So anyway, hi, Cosetta. So that was exciting. So check her channel out. She also participated in the Tote Along. She showed it on her latest episode. So, and she is entering, which reminds me, with our Tote Along, I meant to say something to you all. It started July 1st. It runs till August 31st. And numerous people are telling me that they're just not familiar with Ravelry enough to get it into the groups tab. So if you want to enter and you've knitted or crocheted either one, you can knit or crochet a tote. You can enter either in the Ravelry group, Katrina's Creations, under the finished objects thread, or you can just send me a picture and you're in the email. And it's KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com. Either way, you will get entered. It runs till August 31st, and the winner gets a skein of yarn, which I won't show this episode because I showed every episode. So the winner will get a skein of yarn. And, yeah, so that's it. Oh, and somebody else asked me, could they enter more than one tote? Yes, if you have any tote you have knitted, if you knit 10 totes between now, or between July 1st and August 31st, you can enter 10 times. So as long as you have knitted or crocheted that tote in the time period, you can count as an entry. So yes, it's open for grabs. However many totes you make between that time period, each one counts as an entry. You just have to make sure you put a picture in there. So yeah, anyway. Along that lines too, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I mentioned that I was doing a swap. I had watched an episode of Knitting by the Sea, and Lisa, who is the podcaster on that channel, said she was going to put together a swap where she would team you up with somebody and you answered a questionnaire, and then you basically are going to gift each other a box of goodies, including some yarn. So my swap partner's name is Lucy. So she and I have been chatting. I'm having all kinds of fun putting things together to add to the box. I just found this little, she said she likes things that are like from different specific areas. I couldn't find one from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, but I found a little charm from Pennsylvania, and I'm just going to put a stitch marker or a progress keeper top to it. So, yeah, so she'll have a little progress keeper that has Pennsylvania on it. So I'm waiting for that to come in. And I don't want to say too much because she just joined our podcast. So hi, Lucy. And she's also doing the tote along as well. So I'm having a lot of fun with that because I keep thinking, what will this be? What will that be? This would be fun. So anyway, when I get the whole box together, I will show it after I know she's received it, because I don't want her to watch the podcast and not have any surprise because she watched the podcast and saw what was in the box. So once I've sent it out and I know she's gotten it, then I will put a clip in and show you what I sent in the box when I get it all together. So right now I'm just waiting on those charms. So as soon as they come in the mail, I will be able to get it all together for her. So we have that going on. Now we have What Am I Reading? Now I'm normally a fast reader, but I've had so much going on the last couple weeks that I'm still working on this book, which is On the Hook. If you like knitting or crochet, doesn't matter, you'll enjoy this book. It is a cozy mystery, which means somebody gets killed, but there's no blood or guts. It's a clean murder mystery. This one is called A Crochet Mystery. The author is Betty Hechtman. There it is right there. And I really enjoy this series because it's got just a little bit of a touch of comedy involved with it. The main character just snuck out of a house and rolled down a hill and ended up full of mud, and she's trying to talk to her ex-boyfriend, and she's got clumps of mud coming off of her. It's really cute. And if you like crochet, it has a crochet pattern in the back of the book. This author also has a mystery series called the Yarn Retreat Mystery Series, and that is all knitting related. So she has a crochet and a knitting, and all of her books have patterns in the back. In fact, most cozy mysteries, if they are food related, they usually have recipes in the back. If they are craft related, they usually have a pattern of some sort in the back. Yeah, so I like cozy mysteries. Then I found another one. I have this one patron. I work for a library. One of the patrons, she and I have very, very similar reading tastes. So anytime she gets a book in, I check it out because I figure if she's liked it, I probably will too. And if I run across something they like, I usually will make a list and hand it to her and said, oh, I just read these. These are really good. So she and I swap book ideas all the time. And I saw this one. It's called Murder at the Breakers. The author is Alyssa Maxwell. I have not started this. It's called A Gilded Newport Mystery. Now, the Breakers, which that's what this house, that's the name of a house. In Newport, Rhode Island, during the Gilded Age, which here in the U.S. ran from like the 1880s to the 1920s when the stock market crashed, right about during that 40-year time period, a lot of the very, very rich people built these huge houses, and they built, some of them were up in Bar Harbor in Maine, some were built in Newport, Rhode Island. And these houses in Newport, Rhode Island are now open to the public. So I have actually been to the Breakers. I have stood on, let's see, this is the back of the house. That's the back of the house. It doesn't show a picture of the front. But there's a little patio, little porch thing, and I've actually stood on the porch and looked out on the ocean because Narragansett Bay is right there. Anyway, we went to the Breakers 2 years ago on vacation. I don't have any pictures because that was before I did a podcast. However, last year we were up in New England as well, and we stayed in Newport for a couple of nights, and we went to the Elms, which is another of the big mansions in Newport. So if you would like to see what some of these houses look like, I'll stick a little, if you click on the little eye that's up above here, it will take you to that video. It's just a short one. I think it's 10 or 20 minutes long, but it was the day that we went to the Elms. And so Dave and I kind of filmed all of the rooms and everything. And the Elms, it's large, but it's nowhere in comparison to the size of the Breakers. The Breakers is probably 2 to 2.5 times bigger than the Elms. So just to give you an idea of how big these places are. So if you want to watch it, you can. It was a lot of fun. I think the Elms was a little cozier, which sounds crazy for a mansion, but it was a very homey house. There was a lot of family that, hung out there and lived there up until like the 1960s. Whereas the Elms was owned by the Vanderbilts, and parts of it were cozy, but parts of it, you wouldn't kick your shoes off and put your feet up on the sofa. So I'd probably be better off in the servants' quarters. Yeah. But the Elms was, like I said, it was a lot more cozy. You felt like you could take your shoes off. And if you do watch the video, my favorite room is the kitchen down in the basement. The kitchen cabinets go from the floor to the ceiling, and they're like glass. They're really pretty. Yeah, my dream kitchen. Anyway, yeah, I don't like to cook. That's the crazy thing. So my dream kitchen would be having a short order cook in the kitchen. So I like kitchens to look at. I know. Anyway, I digress. So now we have the section where I talk about different sales. Did you like that new little intro? I've changed the name of that. Before I would just say, oh, this is all about our sales. Now I'm going to call it Come and Get It. Yeah, and put the dinner bell on. So there's lots of sales going on. There is a super good sale going on this week with Craftsy. I've already got my order ready to go out. Craftsy, this only till the 6th. So you're watching this on the 4th, so this ends on Monday, August 6th. They are having a Black Friday sale. I don't know why they're calling it Black Friday in August, but anyway, they're calling it, I'm not going to complain, they're calling it Black Friday sale. 70% off of a lot of their things. A good majority of their things. I'm going shopping. Yeah, that includes their yarn. It includes some of their kits. Let me tell you an example of some of the things I have found. Bernat's Softy Chunky Yarn, $1.49 a skein. Peyton's Astra, which is a sock yarn, $1.80. Sprightly Acrylic Worsted, $1.98. Karen Simply Soft, $2.14. Bernat Satin, $2.27. Cloudborne Limited Edition Alpaca Merino. Alpaca and Merino, $2.49 a skein, and they're carrying it in DK and in worsted for that price. And Lion Brand Mandala, $3.99. Yeah, I'm going shopping. I'm actually going to be buying some of the mandala yarn. Which is sort of like this. It's gradient yarn. I haven't tried it before. I've seen it. I've knitted with some other brands of gradients. But for $3.99, I can't go too far wrong. So I've already picked out the color that I want. So I'm going to do that. And I think there's over 500 yards in a skein. So, I mean, yeah, it's a substantial amount of yarn for $3.99. So I'm getting that, and I'm also getting some of the Cloudborne, not the alpaca, but they have a superwash twist sock yarn. A while back, I showed you some yarn I got from Sweet Georgia called a Party of 5, and it's 5 like mini skeins in different shades of blue. It's for a pattern that I want to design, and I wanted the main color to be dark blue. And I had some of this superwash twisted in navy. But when I put the navy up against the other 5 mini skeins, it almost makes the navy have a purpley color undertone. I just don't like the colors together. So at $2 and something, I think I can afford to get some more. So I found a different blue that's a little bit toned down from the navy that I think will go better with those 5 mini skeins. So when it comes in, I will show you what it looks like. So I'm getting my order in. But anyway, yes, if you click the link below for Craftsy, it will take you to that website. And then once you get on the website, if you just click on the sidebar for like yarn, they have crochet kits and they have knitting kits. So when they say a kit is the yarn and the pattern, and there was a good bit of patterns and yarn included for under $10. I mean, they had some that was over $10, but there was a lot of stuff in there, like a lot of socks and hats and some cowls and things that were under $10. You spend $7 just for a pattern on Ravelry sometimes. So yeah, definitely something to check out. So I was excited about that. Knit Picks, their Felice yarn is back. Felice is a sock yarn that it's usually self-striping, but a lot of knitters that knit socks or crochet socks use Felice. So anyway, they have their Felice yarn is back, and they have also 20% off of their Wool of the Andes superwash worsted and bulky yarns. So Wool of the Andes is 100% wool, and superwash means you can throw it in the washer. Then Lion Brand has their tape yarn still on sale, and they actually show some free patterns that you can make with the tape yarn, and some of them happen to be totes. And actually with the Craftsy as well, some of the kits that I saw that were under $10 were totes. So for under $10, you can get a tote. Came with the pattern and the yarn. And Annie's craft shop also has, they have what's called Creative Studio, which are videos that you can watch that are all like tutorials. They have them on all different types of crafts. They are offering a free 30-day trial if you're interested in that. So those are our deals of the week. And I think that is all I've got to share with you. I think. Looking around, see if I forgot anything, but I think I covered it all this week. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again on Saturday. So thanks again for watching. Bye, everybody.